Commander stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked at the blue planet below. Earth. Such a small world. Such a weak species. He had conquered 47 planets before this one, and each conquest had been easier than the last. Humanity would be number 48. "Sub-Commander," he said without turning around, "what is our estimate for complete control?" Checked her screens. She was smaller than with skin and careful eyes. She never spoke without thinking first. 72 standard hours, Commander. Their weapons cannot pierce our shields. Their ships are slow. Their population is only 8 billion. Only 8 billion, repeated with a laugh. The Empire has trillions. This will be over before the next cycle. He pressed a button on his command chair. His voice would now reach every communication device on the planet below. This was the standard message, the same words he had spoken to 47 other species. "People of Earth, I am commander of the Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You will surrender all weapons. You will accept rule. Resistance is foolish. You have 1 hour to respond." He ended the transmission and sat back in his chair. Around him, his crew worked quietly. They had done this many times before. Some species begged. Some species fought. Some species tried to run. It did not matter. The result was always the same. 1 hour passed. Earth sent no response. Frowned, "They are ignoring us." "Perhaps their leaders are still discussing," suggested. "Primitive species often have slow decision systems." "Send the scouts," ordered. "Show them we are serious." 20 scout ships descended through Earth's atmosphere. They headed toward the largest cities, the places where humans gathered in millions. Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Beijing. The scouts would land, display power, and force the humans to accept their fate. Waited, he expected reports of panic, screaming crowds, soldiers firing useless weapons. Instead, he received silence. "Scout leader," he called through the communication system. "Report." The response came slowly. The voice sounded strange, confused. "Commander, there is no one here." "Explain." "The city is empty, Commander. Seoul. 8 million humans lived here, but there is no one. The streets are empty. The buildings are empty. I see food still sitting on tables, still warm. Vehicles stopped in the middle of roads, but no people, not one." Leaned forward. "They are hiding." "Commander, we have scanned every building, every underground space, every vehicle. There are no life signs. 8 million people have vanished." More reports came in. Tokyo empty. New York empty. London empty. Every city on the planet empty. 8 billion humans had disappeared in the time between his message and the scout's arrival. Stepped closer to his chair. Her face showed something rare for her, worry. "Commander, this is not normal. No species has ever done this. Where could they go? We detected no ships leaving the planet, no mass transportation. They simply vanished." "A trick," insisted. "A primitive trick. They are hiding somewhere, underground caves, ocean bases. We will find them." "With respect, Commander, our scanners can detect a single heartbeat from orbit. We are reading 0 human life signs on this planet. 0. Stood up sharply. "That is impossible. 8 billion creatures cannot simply disappear." "But they had." Far away, in a place that existed between spaces, Captain Park watched the ships through screens that showed the real world. Around him, thousands of other soldiers watched the same thing. Behind them, stretching into distances that made no sense, 8 billion humans waited. "They look confused," said Doctor, standing beside him. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and a calm voice. Her job had been to study alien languages. Now her job was something else. "Good," replied. "Confusion is the first step." "When do we begin?" "Not yet. Let them search. Let them find nothing. Let them start to wonder." Nodded. They had prepared for this day for 50 years. Ever since humanity first detected the Empire expanding across the galaxy, eating species after species. They had watched the pattern. They had calculated when the Empire would reach Earth, and they had built something they had never seen before. The below, they called it, a dimension beside their own, accessible through technology that humanity had developed in secret. Every human on Earth knew about it. Every human had practiced the evacuation. When ships appeared, 8 billion people had simply stepped sideways, out of the normal world and into the below. But they were not hiding. Hiding was what prey did. Humanity was something else. On the flagship ordered more scouts to the surface. He ordered deep scans. He ordered his soldiers to search every cave, every ocean, every mountain. They found nothing. Empty cities, empty homes, a world frozen in the middle of a normal day with no one left to live it. "This is wrong," said quietly. She stood by a window looking down at Earth. "In all our conquests, no species has simply vanished. They fight. They surrender. They die. They do not disappear." "They will appear again," said, "and when they do, we will crush them." "And if they do not appear?" Did not answer. Hours passed. Night fell over parts of Earth and rose over others. The soldiers walked through empty streets, their footsteps the only sound. Some of them reported feeling watched. Some of them reported strange movements in shadows. Their commanders told them to focus. Then, as was preparing to sleep, a transmission reached his flagship. It came from the planet below, but the scouts could not find its source. A woman's voice spoke in perfect language, calm, cold, clear. "You should not have come here." The transmission ended. Stared at the communication screen. For the first time since he had become commander, he felt something he did not recognize. It took him a moment to understand what it was. Fear stood beside him, her face pale. "Commander, how do they know our language?" Had no answer. Below, in the space between spaces, turned off her transmitter and smiled. The game had begun. 3 days passed. The Empire now controlled a planet with no people on it. Scout leader walked through the streets of Seoul with 20 soldiers behind him. The city was beautiful in a strange way. Tall buildings reached toward the sky. Trees lined the roads. Flowers bloomed in small gardens. Everything looked peaceful and alive, except there was no one to see it. "Check that building," ordered, pointing to a large structure with glass walls. His soldiers entered. They found offices with computers still running, coffee cups still warm, chairs pushed back as if people had just stood up, but no people. "Same as everywhere else," one soldier reported. "They left in the middle of everything." Looked around the empty street. He had fought many species. He had seen planets burn. But this silence was worse than any battle. It pressed against him like a weight. "Sir," another soldier called, "we found something." They led him to a room filled with human technology. Screens covered the walls. Strange machines hummed with power. A young technician named Mora was already there, her fingers moving across the human controls. "What is this place?" asked. "Some kind of research center," Mora answered. She was young and curious, always wanting to understand new things. "Their technology is primitive compared to ours, but interesting. I am trying to access their databases." "Can you find where they went?" Mora worked in silence for several minutes. The screens flickered with human symbols. Then her face changed. Something in the data bothered her. "This is strange," she said slowly. "I found references to something called Project Silence. It appears in many files, but most of the information is destroyed. What I can read speaks of emergency protocols, plans made many years ago, and they mention something called the Below." "The Below, what is that?" "I do not know, but whatever it is, they have been preparing for a long time. These files are 50 years old." Felt cold. They knew we were coming 50 years ago. "It appears so." Mora pulled up more data. "They tracked our expansion across the galaxy. They calculated when we would reach their system, and they built something to help them survive." "Or hide like cowards," said, but his voice lacked confidence. That night on the other side of the world, 3 soldiers disappeared. They had been patrolling near a place the humans called the Han River. Their communication signals simply stopped. When other soldiers came to find them, they discovered only empty armor lying on the ground. No bodies, no blood, no signs of struggle. The soldiers had vanished just like the humans. Reported this to Commander. The commander's response was angry. Find them, they cannot simply disappear. But they could, and over the next 2 days more soldiers vanished, always alone or in small groups, always in places with no witnesses. Their armor would be found empty, as if the person inside had turned to air and floated away. The soldiers began to change. They stopped patrolling alone. They jumped at small sounds. They reported shadows that moved when nothing was there. Some swore they heard music playing from empty buildings. Human music, soft and sad and somehow frightening. Maura continued her research. She worked day and night, pulling fragments of data from damaged systems. She learned more about the humans with each passing hour, and what she learned made her afraid. They are a violent species, she told, who had come down from the flagship to see the empty world herself. They have fought each other for all of their history, thousands of wars, millions of dead. They developed weapons to kill each other long before they developed ships to explore space. Many species are violent, said. Not like this. Maura showed her images, human history, battles and conquests and empires rising and falling. They turned war into an art. They wrote books about fear, about how to break an enemy's spirit before the fighting even begins. They studied terror the way we study science. Looked at the images for a long time, and now they have a common enemy. Yes, for the first time in their history, all humans are united against one threat, us. In the below, Lieutenant gathered her team for their next mission. She was a woman of 40 years, with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. 20 years ago, she had helped build the below. She had trained the first soldiers to move between dimensions. Now she led the hunters. Tonight we take 3 more, she told her soldiers. Team 1, the patrol near Tokyo. Team 2, the guards at their landing site. Team 3, the scouts in the mountains. Remember the rules, no killing yet. We are still teaching them fear. When do we kill? Asked a young soldier named Nam. He was new to this work, eager to prove himself. When they are ready to break, answered. Fear must build slowly, like water wearing away stone. We take their friends. We leave their armor. We let them imagine what happened. Their minds will do more damage than our weapons ever could. The hunters moved out, stepping through invisible doors into the real world. They moved like ghosts, appearing behind soldiers and pulling them into the below before they could scream. They never saw them coming. One moment they were walking on solid ground. The next moment they were somewhere else, surrounded by human faces in the darkness. The captured soldiers were not hurt. They were kept in rooms and fed and treated well. But they were also shown things, the size of humanity's army, the weapons they had built, the patience they had learned. Then, after 3 days, they were returned, dropped back into the real world with their memories intact and their courage destroyed. Most of them could not speak about what they had seen. Most of them could not speak at all. Commander received more reports of empty armor, more reports of soldiers returned with empty eyes. His anger grew, but beneath the anger something else was growing too. Doubt. They are playing with us, said to him one night. They could kill our soldiers, but they choose not to. They want us afraid. I fear nothing, growled. But that night he dreamed of shadows pulling him into darkness. He woke up screaming. Deep beneath the ocean, in a facility that no scanner could detect, Engineer checked his systems. The dimensional generators were working perfectly. 8 billion humans lived in the below, waiting for the signal to rise. They had food for years. They had weapons for armies. They had patience carved from centuries of war. How much longer? Asked General, the commander of all human forces. As long as you need, answered. We can wait forever. Nodded. She was an old woman with white hair and a soldier's bearing. She had helped plan this moment for 30 years. We will not wait forever, she said. We will wait until they understand what they have awakened. Then we will show them why humanity should never be hunted. In the below, 8 billion humans continued their silent watch. They were not hiding. They were hunting, and the hunt was just beginning. Captain Park stepped out of the below and into the night air of Earth. Behind him, 20 soldiers followed in perfect silence. They wore black armor that bent light around them, making them nearly invisible. Each one carried weapons designed to kill quickly and quietly. Team 2, report position, whispered into his communicator. In position near the eastern camp, came the reply. 30 soldiers, 10 sleeping, 20 on guard. They looked tired. Team 3. Ready at the southern patrol route, 6 targets. Checked his weapon. Tonight was different from the nights before. Tonight, humanity would show that disappearing soldiers were the least of their problems. All teams, he said, begin. Sergeant O led Team 2. She was a woman of few words and perfect aim. Her team had practiced this exact attack hundreds of times in the below. They knew every step, every movement, every second. She appeared behind a guard like smoke forming into solid shape. Her hand covered his mouth. Her blade found the gap in his armor. He died without a sound. Around the camp, her soldiers did the same. One by one, the guards fell. The sleeping never woke. In 4 minutes, 30 soldiers were dead and his team had not made a single noise. Arrange them, she ordered. Her soldiers moved the bodies into a circle, faces up, eyes open, staring at the stars. When they found them tomorrow, they would see their friends arranged like a message, a warning. Across the continent, Team 3 finished their work. 6 patrol soldiers, killed and left in a perfect line along their patrol route. Their weapons were gone, taken by human hands. Watch from a hilltop as fires began to rise from positions. Not all the attacks were silent. Some were loud, meant to wake the enemy, meant to remind them that death could come at any moment. This is only the beginning, he said to Private Nam, who stood beside him, watching his first real battle. When will it end? Asked. He was young, just 20 years old. He had been a student before the invasion. Now he was a soldier. When they leave or when they die, there is no other ending. On the flagship, Commander received the reports. 30 dead here, 6 there, 12 more at another location. Weapons stolen, supplies destroyed, and still no sign of where the humans were hiding. Impossible, he shouted at his officers. How can they attack us and disappear? Where do they go? No one had answers. Technician Mora worked without sleep, studying every piece of human technology she could find. The answer was in their machine somewhere. She knew it. She could feel it. Then she found it. Dimensional shifting, she whispered to herself. Her screens showed the theory, written by human scientists decades ago. A way to move between parallel spaces. A way to step out of the normal world and into somewhere else. The humans had not built bunkers or caves. They had built a door to another dimension. She ran to find Sub-Commander. They are not on this planet, Mora explained, her words rushing out fast. They are beside it, in a parallel space. They can move in and out as they wish. That is why we cannot find them. That is why they appear and disappear. They are walking through dimensions. Stared at the data. Can we follow them? No, we do not have this technology. We cannot even see the doors they use. They could be standing beside us right now in their other dimension, watching us, and we would never know. Felt something cold settle in her stomach. The Empire had conquered 47 species because they had better weapons, better ships, better technology. But now they faced an enemy who could attack from nowhere and retreat to a place that did not exist. We need to tell the commander, said. He will not believe it. He has to. But when they told, he refused to accept it. Dimensions, magic, this is nonsense. The humans are hiding somewhere and we will find them. Commander said carefully, our soldiers are dying every night. We have lost over 200 in the past week, and we have not killed a single human. We cannot fight an enemy we cannot see. Then we burn the planet. If we cannot have it, neither can they. And Mora exchanged looks. Burning planets was the final option, the choice of a commander who had already lost. In the below, Doctor coordinated the psychological attacks. Physical death was effective, but fear was more powerful. She designed messages that would break minds. Play the music in Seoul tonight, she ordered. The sad songs. Let them hear human voices singing in empty streets. What about the photographs? An assistant asked. Distribute them. I want every soldier to find a picture of himself under his pillow tomorrow, with his name written on the back. The humans had studied them for 50 years. They knew their psychology, their fears, their weaknesses. They were a species that valued order and control. Chaos terrified them. The unknown made them weak. So humanity gave them chaos, gave them the unknown. Soldiers found human handprints on windows they had checked hours before. They found food from there arranged in patterns on tables, though no human should know what food looked like. They found messages written in their own language, saying things only their families would know. How do they know these things? One soldier screamed as he found a note mentioning his mother's name. He did not know that the captured soldiers had talked, had told the humans everything about life, culture, fears. The humans learned and the humans used what they learned. Commander stopped sleeping. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard music, human music, soft and strange. He began seeing things that were not there, shadows in corners, faces at windows. We need reinforcements, he told the Empire in a transmission. Send more ships, more soldiers. The response was confused. Why did an easy conquest require more forces? Was failing. Mora worked on a different transmission, a warning to the Empire about what the humans really were. She wrote about dimensional technology, about psychological warfare, about a species that had spent its entire history learning how to destroy enemies not just with weapons, but with fear. She never finished sending it. As she worked, she felt breath on her neck. She turned and saw a human woman standing behind her. How had she entered? The door was locked. The room had no windows. "Hello, Mora," said Imperfect. "We have been watching you. You are smart, smarter than the others. That is why we want you to live." Mora could not move, could not speak. "Deliver a message for us," continued. "Tell your commander that we are done playing. Tell him that what comes next will make these past weeks seem like kindness. Tell him that humanity has decided to hunt." Then she stepped backward and vanished. Simply vanished, as if she had walked through an invisible door. Mora sat alone in the silent room, shaking, understanding finally what kind of enemy the Empire had awakened. Commander had not slept in 6 days. His eyes were red. His hands shook. Every shadow looked like a human waiting to strike. Around him, his flagship felt different now. The soldiers who had once walked with pride now moved with fear. They checked corners twice. They jumped at sounds. They whispered about demons who could walk through walls. "Commander," Subcommander said softly, "the latest count. We have lost over 800 soldiers. Another 200 are unable to perform their duties. They cannot stop screaming." Slammed his fist on his command chair. How? How can a primitive species do this to us? "They are not primitive, Commander. They are different. They have spent their entire existence learning to destroy each other. Now they are using that knowledge on us. We have conquered 47 species. And none of them were like humans." His voice was calm but heavy with truth. "The others fought with honor or surrendered with wisdom. Humans do neither. They play with us like a creature plays with its food before eating." Wanted to argue, but he could not. Deep inside, he knew she was right. This was not a conquest. This was a nightmare. On Earth below, Technician Mora delivered his message to the other officers. Most of them did not believe her. They thought the fear had broken her mind. But some listened. Some looked at the evidence she had gathered and understood. "We should leave," one officer said quietly. "Report this planet as too dangerous to conquer. Mark it forbidden. Go home." "We'll never allow it," another replied. "His pride will not let him retreat from primitives. Then we'll kill us all." The arguments continued, but Mora did not stay to hear them. She went to find on the flagship. Of all the, only seemed able to think clearly. "I found something else," Mora told her. "In the human databases, their history of war is bad enough, but there is something worse. They have something called psychological operations, the art of destroying an enemy's mind before destroying their body. They have been doing this for thousands of years." "We are experiencing it now," said. "Yes, and according to their own records, we are only in the early stages, what they call the softening phase. The real attack has not begun." Closed her eyes. "What do? We leave. We tell the Empire the truth. This planet should be forbidden." "The commander will not accept that." "Then we must make him accept it." But before they could plan further, something happened. Something that changed everything. Appeared on the bridge of the flagship. She did not come through a door. She simply walked out of a wall, stepping from one dimension into another as easily as stepping through a curtain. One moment the bridge was empty except for. The next moment, a human woman stood among them. Guards raised their weapons, but held up a hand. "I am not here to fight," she said in their language. "I am here to offer you a chance to live." Rose from his chair, green face twisted with rage and fear. "How did you enter my ship?" "The same way we enter everywhere. The same way we have been killing your soldiers. We walk through dimensions, Commander. Your walls mean nothing to us. Your shields mean nothing. We could have killed every in this fleet on the first day. We chose not to." "Why?" Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Because we wanted you to understand what you face. We wanted you to feel fear before you felt death. Consider it a gift. Most of our enemies throughout history were not given such understanding." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. She placed it on the floor. "This contains our terms. Leave this system. Mark Earth forbidden. Tell your empire never to return. You have 24 hours. Rage exploded. "Seize her." Guards rushed forward but simply stepped backward and vanished. She was there, and then she was not. The guards grabbed empty air. Screamed in frustration. He grabbed the device had left and threw it across the bridge. It bounced off a wall and landed at his feet. She picked it up. "Commander," she said, "perhaps we should listen to their terms." "Never. I will never surrender to animals. I will burn their planet before I retreat." "Sir, they have proven they can enter our ships at will. If we attack them, they will attack us. Here, on this bridge, in our sleep, we cannot win this fight." Drew his weapon and pointed it at. "One more word of cowardice and I will execute you myself." Did not flinch. "Then execute me, but that will not change the truth. We have lost this war. We lost it the moment we entered this system." The bridge fell silent. Every watched their commander holding a weapon on his own officer. This was not the behavior of a conqueror. This was the behavior of a desperate creature. In the below, General addressed the human population. Her image appeared on screens throughout the dimensional space, seen by 8 billion people. "Citizens of Earth," she said, "the Empire has been given 24 hours to leave our system. I do not expect them to accept. Their commander is proud and foolish. He would rather die than retreat." She paused, letting her words settle. "So we must decide. If they do not leave, what do we do? Do we continue the small attacks? Do we wait and hope? Or do we show them and the entire galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity?" The vote was held across the below. 8 billion humans made their choice. Parents and children, soldiers and teachers, old and young, every voice counted. The result was not surprising. "The vote is complete," an assistant told, 98% in favor of full response. Nodded, she had expected this. Humanity had been patient. Humanity had been clever, but humanity had also been angry, very angry. They had come to their home, threatened their families, and expected them to surrender. Now they would learn why that was a mistake. "Prepare all forces," ordered. "When the 24 hours end, we remind the galaxy what humans can do." Park gathered his soldiers in the below. They were the best hunters humanity had produced. They had trained their entire lives for this moment. "You know the plan," he told them. "When the time comes, we do not just appear on Earth, we appear everywhere, inside their ships, inside their command centers, inside their engine rooms. We are not fighting a battle, we are ending a war." Sergeant O checked her weapons. "And if they surrender?" "We accept it. We are not monsters. We fight to protect our home, not to slaughter the helpless. But if they choose to fight," eyes hardened, "then we show no mercy." The 24 hours passed. Commander prepared a planetary bombardment. If he could not have Earth, he would destroy it. Let the humans live in their other dimension with nothing to return to. "Fire on the major cities," he ordered. "Burn everything." But before his weapons could fire, something changed. The space around Earth began to shimmer. Invisible doors opened by the thousands, and through them came humanity. Not just on the planet below, on every ship, in every room, behind every soldier. 8 billion humans, appearing from nowhere, ready to end this. Barely had time to scream before human soldiers surrounded his bridge, stood before him, weapon raised. "Your time is up," Commander said. "Now you see what you have awakened." The battle lasted 17 minutes. It was not really a battle. It was a demonstration. Humans appeared inside ships like ghosts becoming solid. They emerged behind gunners and took their weapons. They appeared in engine rooms and disabled systems. They walked onto bridges and surrounded commanders. They could not fight back. How do you fight an enemy who appears inside your armor? How do you defend against soldiers who step through walls? Every weapon that turned was met by a human who had already moved behind them. Every alarm they raised was silenced by hands that came from nowhere. On the flagship, Park stood over Commander. The leader had fallen to his knees, surrounded by human soldiers who had appeared on his bridge like a nightmare made real. "Please," whispered. The word felt strange in his mouth. He had never said it before. "Please what?" asked. His voice was cold but not cruel. "Please spare you. Please show mercy. Where was your mercy for the 47 species you conquered before us?" Had no answer. Reached down and pulled the commander to his feet. "We are not going to kill you. We are not like you. We do not destroy because we can. We destroy to protect what we love." He pushed toward the main. Outside, the fleet drifted helplessly. Every ship had been disabled. Every weapon had been taken. Thousands of soldiers sat in groups, guarded by humans who had appeared among them like magic. "Look at what we could have done on the first day," said. "We could have killed every one of you before you knew we were there. But we wanted you to understand something first. We wanted you to feel fear, real fear, the kind that breaks your sleep and follows you forever." He turned to face him. "Now you will deliver a message to your empire. You will tell them what happened here. You will tell them what we can do, and you will warn them never to come back." Sub-Commander was brought to the bridge by other human soldiers. Unlike, she walked with dignity. She had already accepted the truth that her commander could not face. Sub-Commander said, "You will take command of what remains of this fleet. You will return to space, and you will carry our message." Nodded slowly. "What is your message?" Stepped aside and General appeared from a dimensional door. The old woman walked onto the bridge as if she owned it. In a way, she did. "I am General," she said, "Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces. I have a message for the High Council." She activated a recording device. "To the leaders of the Empire, you sent forces to conquer our world. You thought we were weak. You thought we were primitive. You were wrong. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We have developed arts of war that your species cannot imagine. And now, for the first time in our history, we are united against a common enemy. You." She paused, letting her words settle. "We do not want war with your empire. We want to live in peace on our world, but we will not be conquered. We will not bow. And we will never forget those who threaten our home. So here is our warning. Mark Earth forbidden. Remove it from your star maps. Tell every species you contact that this world belongs to humanity and humanity will defend it." Her voice hardened. "If you ignore this warning, we will come to you. Not to your border worlds, not to your military bases, to your homes, your capitals, your council chambers. We will appear among you like we appeared among this fleet, and we will show no mercy. We have learned that some species only understand strength, so we offer you strength. The strength of 8 billion hunters who now know they can reach anywhere in the galaxy." She stopped the recording. "Take this message to your council," she told. "I pray they are wiser than your commander." Took the recording. "They will be, I will make sure of it." The next hours were spent repairing enough of the ships to allow them to leave. Humans worked alongside their enemies, fixing systems they had broken minutes before. It was a strange sight, but it carried its own message. We can destroy you and we can fix you. We choose which one you receive. Mora was allowed to keep her research. She had studied humans carefully and wanted the Empire to know exactly what they faced. Let them read about human wars. Let them see the weapons humanity had built to destroy itself. Let them understand that this species had been practicing violence since before the discovered fire. "You are strange creatures," Mora said to before boarding her ship. "You could have killed us all. Why did you choose mercy?" "Because mercy is strength," replied. "Any creature can destroy. It takes wisdom to spare. We want your empire to know that we are not mindless killers. We are protectors. We fight when we must and stop when we can." "Your history suggests otherwise." Smiled sadly. "Our history is full of darkness, yes, but also light. We are capable of great evil and great good. The choice is always ours. Today we chose good. Remember that when you tell your people about us." The fleet limped out of Earth's system. Their engines barely worked. Their weapons were gone. Their soldiers were traumatized, but they were alive. Humanity had let them live. Stood on her bridge, watching Earth grow smaller behind them. Beside her, sat in a chair, staring at nothing. The commander who had conquered 47 worlds had been broken by the 48th. "What will you tell the council?" Mora asked. "The truth. Earth is too dangerous to attack. Humans are too dangerous to fight. We should mark their system forbidden and pray they never decide to expand." "Will the council listen?" "Thought about it? They will, because I will show them this fleet. I will show them our soldiers who cannot stop shaking. I will show them a commander who has not spoken since we left Earth. The evidence speaks for itself." She looked at the stars ahead. "The Empire has conquered for centuries because no one could stop us. Now we have met someone who can. That changes everything." On Earth, life returned to normal. Humans stepped out of the below and walked back into their homes. Cities filled again. Children went to schools. Workers went to jobs. The invasion had interrupted life for only a few weeks, and now it was over. But things had changed. The dimensional generators remained active, hidden beneath the ground and the sea. Millions of soldiers remained trained and ready. Humanity had shown itself to the galaxy, and it would never hide again. Park and Sergeant O sat on a hill overlooking Seoul. The city glowed with lights below them. People moved through streets that had been empty days before. Normal life had resumed, as if nothing had happened. "Do you think they will come back?" asked. "Not they," said. "They learned their lesson, but there are other empires out there, other species who might want to test us. And we will be ready. Always. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors of orange and gold. Somewhere out there was carrying a message to the stars, a warning, a promise. Humanity was awake, humanity was watching, and humanity would never be prey again. Far across the galaxy, the High Council received report. They watched the recordings. They listened to the message from General. They saw the fear in their own soldiers' eyes. The discussion was brief. The decision was unanimous. Earth was marked forbidden. All records of its location were sealed. All species under influence were warned to avoid the small blue planet and its dangerous inhabitants. In the halls of the council, a new saying began to spread. It passed from mouth to mouth, a lesson learned at terrible cost. There are hunters in the darkness between stars, and the worst of them look human. Back on Earth, children played under open skies. Families shared meals together. Life went on, simple and beautiful. And somewhere in the below, the dimensional generators hummed quietly, ready for the next threat that might come. They came to conquer a world. They woke up a species. Humanity would remember, humanity would watch, and humanity would always be ready. The end.